John Springer decided early on that Sega did what Nintendo didn't. He liked Sega. That would put him down a decade-long path to combine his passions, video games, his hometown of Fort Wayne, and of course, pizza. But it's also a path that started in one of the darkest periods of his life. We'll get to know him and his vision for a 16-bit Fort Wayne today on Indi Android.
We're old school video games, we're pizza, we're all the above, and most importantly, we're about local art and just creating happy memories with folks.
John Springer is the guy behind I Heart Pizza, whose mission statement is, well, it's a lot. For the past 11 years, John and his team have been building a library of about 24 remastered and original games for the Sega Genesis, and they'll be gathered in a brick-and-mortar pizzeria, hence the name. It's a big, sprawling plan, one that Aaliyah Springer, John's wife, has been there for every step of the way.
I would say every other day it was a, whoa, should we be doing this? This seems like such a massive undertaking. Will Fort Wayne accept it? Will we be popular? Will we be success? To the next thing being like, we got this. This is the best idea ever. It's constantly been like a tug of war.
About half of IHP's library consists of old, forgotten titles that never made it out of countries like Taiwan and Brazil, like Adventurous Boy and Ghost Hunter, and also whatever this is.
This is Smart Mouse. It's super healthy American rat. Rich and fine, big and strong. All of them. I needed a little bit of TLC. I had to clean them up a little bit. But we've taken these games and characters that time forgot, and we're giving them an extra life, if you will, here in Fort Wayne.
Over the past 11 years, IHP has worked with about 70 different artists, developers, and composers, most of whom either live in Fort Wayne or have Fort Wayne ties. Like Carly Melder, an animator who now lives out in California.
I know, like, Adventurous Boy just kind of looks like a knockoff Kirby. And so when I was drawing him, that's just kind of how I made him. Because, they're both like these little puff balls with legs, except Adventurous Boy mysteriously has 5 fingers, which is so creepy.
With the territory of these old, forgotten games comes a number of bugs and mistranslations. But to John and the team, that's just part of the charm.
Adventurous Boy is funny because it has like all of this this gibberish. It doesn't make any sense. Like the intro, nothing about it, not even like the guns you can get, like some of them just they're not words. It's great. You know, as the consoles and stuff kept coming out, a lot of games were just discontinued with no way to preserve them at all. And so the fact that he owns these IPs and is saving like 16 plus games, you know, from just complete extinction is very cool.
It's not all bootleg Kirby and singing Bubbles. The real kicker is a concept John's been throwing around since childhood, turning Fort Wayne into its own video game.
The idea was to make these landmarks recognizable. We wanted more or less just head on, like, this is Fort Wayne. We're not going to get too artistic about it. It's to showcase the city, really.
Colin, who did the pixel art for the Fort Wayne games, says the IHP project as a whole reflects the hometown pride for the city that's grown in the past several years.
We've got this emerging art scene and we're finding our identity, but we also have these Midwestern values. And I love that. I love that dichotomy. I'm happy to be right at the middle of it, but I wanted to do something I made Fort Wayne special.
I hope that it becomes a part of Fort Wayne lore.
When developing a game now, tools like Unity and GameMaker help simplify the process. But IHP's goal was to make its Genesis games as authentic as possible. So they're developing on the actual console. That comes with challenges.
It's really difficult to come up with an analogy for how simple the Sega Genesis was. 20 years ago I would have said it's about as simple as your cell phone, but now it's like as simple as your cell phone after you've dropped it several times and maybe it's overheated and like it's not doing so good.
Once those games are finished, they'll be available to play at John and Aaliyah's Pizza restaurant, which they plan to open late next year.
We can feed them, give them entertainment, give them a safe place to go where literally everyone's going to be welcome and accepted. It's going to be a very, very positive environment.
Ironically enough, John and Colin met while working at a pizza shop, but John had ulterior motives.
We started working together at 816 Pint and Slice. He was, I think he was a little bit shy about it at first because we were both working at a pizza restaurant and he wanted to start a pizza restaurant. I think once he realized that management was okay with that concept, that he was, only there to get experience as a pizza maker, that he was finally comfortable to talk about it at work.
This whole I Heart Pizza venture, the games, the pizza, it's such a massive undertaking born out of John just wanting to make his own game. But the catalyst for getting started on it was a piece of devastating news.
I woke up with this grapefruit-sized thing in my armpit. And I thought I'd done some free weights the day before. I thought maybe I'd pulled something, but it turns out I was misdiagnosed 4 times. It was indeed stage 4B cancer. It's either imminently treatable or you could have maybe a couple months. And it's just such this gripping fear. I can't describe it, but it's this gripping fear. I didn't tell anybody. How do you process that? I mean, I didn't tell my family, I didn't tell my friends. I just wanted to let it be. And yes, the entire experience just galvanized my passion. When you feel the touch of death on you, you just really get motivated, and it's sad, but something like that just really brings it home and allows you to go full circle and understand just how precious life really is.
That was a really rough time for us. We had only been married for 2 years. We were transitioning, trying to leave Canada and come here to Fort Wayne. And luckily, thankfully, and I think it was a gift from God, he got this idea through that and had something to work on and focus at while he was going through his cancer treatment, because he wasn't able to work. Those treatments are brutal, totally exhausted him, but he could sit at a computer, research the games, think of food ideas. So it was his saving grace, I'd say.
All I did was work on this stuff while I underwent treatment. Just dreamed it, worked on it, and honestly, it's kind of become my life work. And really, this sounds so cheesy, but it's true. It's not about pizza, it's not about video games, it's really about making people happy.
After a couple years of rigorous treatment, John went into remission.
Seems like a bad dream. It honestly feels like it's like a bad dream. It's weird. I'll never forget the moment when we got the news and Aaliyah's green card arrived the same day, or within a day, and it was like, okay, the nightmare's over.
It felt like another chance, and it really catapulted the motivation to make this business happen because he earned it.
After over a decade of grueling effort, John and the I Heart Pizza team are finally getting ready to unveil their work. When the process gets difficult, and any of them will tell you that it does, John just thinks back to why he started all this.
My motivation for opening my store here in Fort Wayne and doing this is to improve my backyard, because I think Fort Wayne needs this. I'm making the thing that I think Fort Wayne needed when I was a kid. I want to make something that has local arts, local hearts, and really just giving people something to be proud of.
I just love how much John loves Fort Wayne and how he wants to make it a place that people actually want to visit and come to, or at least see it through his lens and the way he really likes it. I think, this whole thing will really actually help put Fort Wayne on the map, and maybe people will want to visit there or something in the fall when it's not snowing.
I kind of feel like John's entire project, not just the games, but also his pizza place, are kind of a reflection of that change in Fort Wayne into a city that people are really proud of.
The work that's been put into this, no one will ever know, but I feel very blessed and fortunate to get to be involved.
And I'm just so humbled to have the opportunity to do it. Grateful to. I couldn't do it without all the help of so many folks who've helped us throughout the years, and it's just a dream come true. I'm perpetually 12. Kubi's is superstar. He's biggest. Here's the thing, though, about Kubi. Kubi's not in the game. Kubi doesn't look like this.